Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Rodney, and I'm back. And I just wanted to come and talk about Summer House Martha's Vineyard. All right, so listen. I really want to just talk about the last 5 minutes. If we're gonna be honest, that's what I want to get to. I want to get to the last five. Hello, girl, the last five. That's what I want to talk about. But listen, so let's just talk. Okay. I love this show. I really do. And I do. And I say this every week because I really want to try to I really think we should support this show. I get that it's not as good as the first season. We have to be honest, right? Um, and next week I'm gonna tug on a couple of wigs on who can go and who can stay. Next week is the season finale. Y'all know I think I'm a casting director. I'm not, but I think I am. But I think this is a really good show that has a lot of potential, and I get that there's room for improvement. There's room for improvement. Um, I think we should just support the show, and I'm gonna say it. I've said it. I'm gonna say it again. Y'all gonna be mad when we ain't got nothing on TV but baddies. Then y'all gonna be talking about how the representation of black women and black men is piss poor on TV. I mean, well, girl, y'all not watching the shows that we have, except for the Ratchet and Ignorant. You know what I'm saying? Like, girl, I don't know. Um, anyways, but I also believe that just because it is a black show doesn't mean that we can't critique the show and say what we feel and just constructive criticism, right? So, anyways, the flamingo costume. Let's just get into the episode. The flamingo costume. I think Bria was embarrassed, and I think that her embarrassment kind of led to her being upset from the actions of Simon wearing the flamingo costume. Bria said later in the episode that this was a black tie event. Girl, let me get comfortable. Girl, like I always say, once I cock this leg up, girl, we're gonna be down here for a second. So, one, Bria, girl, that was not a black tie event. Not with them pizza boxes. Hello? But not with them styrofoam takeout plates around the room. Hello? That wasn't a black tie event. Um, I saw Noelle throwing her cat in a circle on a fireplace, right? Which was cute. We saw the boys and girls throwing up their fraternity signs and scrolling and pop locking and dropping. With the pizza boxes, the styrofoam plates, the girls throwing it in a circle. That wasn't a black tie event. I'm sorry. Um, but I could see how she could be embarrassed. I don't think it was that big of a deal to the point where Bria made herself more upset than what she should have done. Like, I think Bria was more focused on being embarrassed and what the other people may say, because I don't think it was that big of a deal. Can we call a thing a thing, girl? Simon is white, and I'm not trying to give Simon a pass because he's white. That's not my mo. Because Simon is white, and I do feel this is what I feel. I feel like Simon knows this is of course a reality show. He probably was just trying to, just like Preston said, he wanted some attention. He wanted to turn it up for the cameras, right? That's what I'm saying. He wanted to turn it up for the cameras. Um, is it this situation where, girl, they need to sit down and have a conversation? No, just like Nick told him, baby, it's not that deep. Like, you wore it, it's over and done with. Like, I just feel like Bria's reaction to it was a little bit tad a team too much. To be embarrassed, okay. To be upset, okay. Bria actually brought more attention to the flamingo costume in Simon than Simon himself. Bria's reaction to it is, I think, what made it more bigger than what it needed to be. Maybe if Bria would have walked up to Simon and said, "Hey, baby, oh, you got on the flamingo costume. Come here for a second. Let me tell you something upstairs." You see what I'm saying? And go upstairs and say, you don't take that. You know what I'm saying? But like Bria acts a fool. Bria is very emotional. We all can be emotional, but girl, she's like, she'll go from 10 to 100 real quick, right? Anyways, we don't care about the flamingo costume. It is what it is. It's not that big of a deal. Child, Bria made it bigger than what it needed to be, and she brought more attention to the situation. That's what I feel. Amir pulls Bria to the side and tries to talk to her. It was a funny conversation, I'm not gonna lie. He was drunk, she was drunk. Girl, he said something about if you're not for basically talking about Bria and Simon's relationship, if you're not for anybody, then when Bria said you can't be for the streets, I think I think the quote, the quote that came to my head is when they say, "If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything." Right? He was saying something like, if you are for anybody, you can't be." And then Bria just said, "For the streets." I know that's right. Anyways, girl, Bria gets upset. She starts to pack Simon's belongings, and she calls her mother and tells her mother that she's putting Simon out, and she has his credit card information, and he's gone. And the mother had to talk some sense into Bria. Like realistically, like come on, girl. He's there for 3 days. Simon wants to be on the show. That's another thing too I forgot to say. Simon wants to be on the show with the flamingo costume, with him turning up the way he turns up. Right, Simon is a good time though. I will say, I'd rather have Simon than Maria. Hello, I can say at least with Simon, Simon did not come into the show, girl, as this white man judging the girls and boys. That was Amir's girlfriend, Selena. Hello. We're gonna get into that in a little bit. But Simon wants to be on the show. And Bria let us know that he was upset when he found out he could only stay for 3 days because Simon wants to be on the show. Girl. But Bria changed her mind, girl, and she was overreacting. Amir is messed up. Chenise was messed up. So, okay, girl, let's get into some of this mess. Bria, Chenise, Noel, and Selena sat down and had some girl talk, right? And Maria said that they were talking about Nick. And she made the comment about Tasia was already in bed and Nick was downstairs looking to get into something. Let me just say something. I know a lot of people, I know a lot of couples move this way where when one person goes to bed, everybody else got to go to bed too, right? I felt like what Amir's girlfriend was trying to say was Natalie was in bed, so that meant it was time for him to go to bed. But because he wasn't in bed and he was still downstairs, that means that he was trying to find some stuff to get into. No, that just means that he wasn't sleeping and the party was still going. And the truth of the matter is, if we're gonna be honest about it, girl, Nick is an employee. Girl, Tasia not no employee. So if I'm just saying, I don't know what happened. I don't know. I'm just saying if the producer said, Nick, we need you to stay up for a few more minutes, then Nick gonna stay up for a few more minutes. I'm just saying. And again, I don't know if that's what happened. But even if the producers didn't say that, Nick is still a grown ass man in the house because his girlfriend is just upstairs asleep. I'm not ready to go to bed. That's it. Girl, that's it. That's it. That's all. Um, they start to talk about Nick being handsy. Now listen, we have had this conversation before. I know some of y'all don't like Jordan, but I was one of the ones who called it out from the get-go. I said I had noticed that Nick gets a little handsy with the girlies. Now, had Summer and Jordan brought it directly to his attention, like in this, hey Nick, what's his name? Nick or Alec? Nick. Hey Nick, can we talk? No, they didn't do that, but there were moments where you heard Jordan say, "Move, get your hands off me." She would move his hands in a different, when they would take pictures, she would move his hand. You heard Summer say, basically, "Nick, get your hands off me." So they had been very vocal to Nick about his hands. I felt like it was disrespectful. One, they don't have, nobody has to have a reason for them not to want to be touched. If they say don't touch me, that's a good enough reason alone. However, I think part of it was probably because Nick does have a girlfriend and they probably know how it would look, the optics of it all, right? So if I'm this single woman like Jordan, if I'm this single woman like Summer, and this man is putting his hands on me, the first thing they're gonna start saying, calling me a hoe and talking about how I'm trying to go after the boys, go after the girls, man, right? So to avoid all of that, just don't touch me, right? It's one thing if we walk into the house, we hug each other, girl, we gonna buy our business, right? But all that extra stuff, no. And the truth of the matter is, if Nick walked into a room and if the guy was outside of gay, girl, and he saw some man's hand wrapped around Tasia's waist or wrapped over her shoulder, he would probably have something to say. I think most people would not like walking into a room and seeing their boyfriend or girlfriend with the opposite sex, right? And some man or woman's hands wrapped around their waist, dripped over their shoulders, currently still massage. Y'all know. So we're going to have to call a thing a thing. Nick was handsy. Now, was it one of those situations? I also was very vocal about this. I don't think it was one of those situations where they were afraid of Nick, where they felt like Nick was this creep and they had to lock the door. No, we just saying, hey, brother, like, keep your hands to yourself. We still love you, but keep your hands to yourself, right? They addressed it. They moved on. It wasn't a big deal. I don't think Nick has done it ever since. They always say the best apology is change behavior. He's changed his behavior. It's not a big deal. Okay? Who is this? I don't know where that sound coming from. I don't know what that sound was. Um, the way Natalie more than likely presented the information to Nick was that Bria, Chenise, and Noelle were saying that he was handsy. I know I'm getting ahead of myself because she never came out on the show and said, "Oh no, that's not what I meant, Nick." So Nick, I'm getting ahead of myself. You said I'm trying to get to that last five. I'm trying to get to that last 5 minutes. Natalie says, so after they're talking about Nick being handsy and being inappropriate, blah, blah, blah. Natalie feels like, I guess, Tasia should know. Now, Bria did say, I don't want to approach it. Noelle also said, I ain't got nothing to say. I didn't hear, they didn't show Chenise saying anything. So I don't know what Shanice's reaction was to Natalie basically saying that Tasia should know. But Bria and Noelle both said, The truth is, what Bria, Noelle, Chenise, and Natalie were doing was not outside of the norm. It's what everybody does. We talk shit about people. We have girl talk. We have boy talk. Girl, we gossip. We talking about what's going on. They were gossiping. They were talking about what was going on. But outside of that, we're not taking this information back to Tasia, right? It's one thing for us to get together and kiki and laugh and talk shit about people. It's another thing for, no, I'm not getting involved in that. And that's where Bria and Noelle were coming from. We not getting involved. Girl, we talked about it. We kiki. Girl, let the heifer find out when she find out. Girl, she'll see it. Girl, she'll see it when the show airs, right? Um, I feel like, oh, girl, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm really trying to get to that last 5 minutes. Amir and Natalie. Gotta call that girl Natalie, Selena, Maria. Hello. Guadalupe. Hello. Um, so Amir and his girlfriend, she tells Amir that the girls think that Tasia should know. Now let me tell y'all something. Now this might be semantics. I don't know. Girl. Yes. Let me say this. Yes. I could say that I think Tasia should know, but that don't mean that I'm telling her shit. Hello, girl. Both can exist. Even if Bria and Noelle and Chenise said, girl, yeah, she should know. But that don't mean that we telling her though. She'll find out. The same way she found out that Nick told us, girl, when she knocked on the door last year that he had a girlfriend. She'll find out what he did when this shit aired. She'll find out. Hey, hello. Um, Amir, I don't even know how Nick could even still be Amir's friend. Amir is sneaky as fuck. He just, excuse me, he just as sneaky as that girl. I find it quite interesting that Miss Girl Guadalupe came into that house judging on 1,000. And in the girl, within 24 hours, all of a sudden, girl, she wanted to be in the mess. Now, the word on the street is allegedly, Amir has said that if Natalie does not make the show next season, he not coming back. That's what the people saying online. Now, I don't know how true that is, but that's what they said. Let me just say one thing, okay? Amir, we don't even want you on the show. Amir act like he is Nene Leakes, Kenya Moore. You who girl? You ain't nobody to be going around here making no motherfucking demands, girl. We don't want Amir on the show, and we definitely don't want Guadalupe either. Now whether Amir comes back next season, great. He comes back. He come back. If he don't, he don't. But if that is true, who is Amir to be making demands on whether or not if his girlfriend don't get to come on next season, that he not coming back? Okay, you're not that interesting, anyways. If we're gonna be honest about it. If we're gonna be honest about it, the reason why season one worked was because Bria was a mess, Silas was a mess, and Jordan was a mess. Hello? Hello? Girl. If we really gonna be honest about it, and let me not even, just be for real. Natalie done more work than Amir in the last 2 episodes than Amir done did seasons 1 and season 2. Girl. You gonna fuck around and have Natalie in the house and have your ass stuck in Austin, Texas. Hello? Girl. Anyways, but I feel like Amir is shady and he's sneaky because if you knew this information about your boy, that's my boy, right? Then why didn't Amir go back and tell? This is where, like, the producers, I feel like they overproduce. In real life, the reality is, even if Natalie was telling Amir this is what they were saying, Amir should have still went back and told Nick, hey, Nick, I just want to come let you know that the girls are talking about, this is what Natalie told me. The girls are talking about X, Y, and Z. That's how that should have went. But because they say Amir is trying to get Natalie on the show, and you can clearly see that somebody is coaching Natalie, Amir, because there's no way that girl came into that house judging the way she was judging, and then all of a sudden, girl, at the flip of a switch, girl, now she's girl carrying bones, and girl, one of the messiest helpers in the house. Hello? You see what I'm saying? Nick should be pissed off at Amir. He should be pissed off at Amir, and he should be pissed off at Natalie. Period. But he definitely should be pissed off at Amir. Bria and Simon. Girl. Bria and Simon sit down and have a conversation. I'm so confused with Bria. Long story short, Bria tells Simon that you're white and you're blind when it comes to racism. They get into a whole argument. It went from them talking about the flamingo to how Bria is treated when she's in Germany. Bria did make the blogs. Something happened, I think, when she was in Germany. Something racist. I don't know. I remember her making the blogs. Like I think she was at a store. I can't remember the details, but she started going through. She started naming these times where she felt like she was in danger due to her being a black woman. When it was all said and done, Bria and Simon worked it out. Let me just say something. And this is exactly what I said online. Well, not exactly, but like I said on Twitter. Either Bria is exaggerating her experiences in Germany, either she's lying, or either she's a goddamn fool. Why would you want to be with a person, in this case, a white man, and you're telling him to his face that he's blind when it comes to racism and he doesn't protect you? You're in this country by yourself, no family or friends, and your boyfriend is taking the side of the white people versus you. He tells you you're just being dramatic, right? And based off of Bria's character on the show, Bria can be dramatic, but that doesn't mean that she's being dramatic in what she's talking about in Germany, the experiences that she's had. However, when Bria decides to stay with Simon, that's when I start to question whether or not Bria is putting 20 on 10. Because again, why would you want to remain in a relationship with a white man when you say in the same breath that he doesn't protect you while you're in danger? He's blind to racism. Girl, why are you even with this man? Why are you even with this man? If he can't even if he doesn't even want to acknowledge that you as a black woman, you as a dark-skinned black woman at that, hello, and the things that you go through and you feel like you're not protected, but at the end of the conversation you still want to be, girl, I'm looking at you like you's a motherfucking fool. You's a fool. Sure, ain't no way. Ain't no way, girl. I'm all down for love is love, interracial love, girl. Date who you date, marry who you marry, girl. Have a good life, girl. A dog, cat, 3 kids, 5 kids, whatever, girl. But when we start to go down the road of saying that it's one thing for you to sit here and say, "Oh, my man doesn't understand black women's hair." Okay, girl. But it's a whole nother thing when you start talking about your man don't understand racism, he blind to it, girl, and you still want to be with the nigga, girl. Bye. Anyways, Britt and Simon, girl, good luck. Um, this is why I think Nick do be playing games. Now, Nick, this is where you do play games, okay? They were in the car. Tasia and Nick were in the car. They were going to brunch, and she was saying how she doesn't have phone service where they were at. And he said, "Why don't you start in Arlington? Whatever his last name. I'm assuming that was his last. That's his last name. Why don't you start in I think Arrington family plan?" And she said, my last name is Burrows. My last name is Burrows. I feel like Nick is the type of person. First of all, Nick is a little sneaky. Girl, Nick get away with some of the things that he does because of the way that Nick presents himself, right? The clean shave, face, nice teeth, nice skin. Girl, Nick is fine as hell. I ain't gonna lie. Nick is fine as hell, but listen, the clean. Y'all started thinking about it, girl. He is kind of fine, girl. The clean, the clean face, the nice skin, the teeth, the eyes, girl. The nice fitted clothes, the what the purple label Ralph Lauren. Okay, yes, God. But no, girl. So people are more than likely to kind of feel as though Nick is this, Russell Wilson, right? But Nick does little things, and I feel like Nick is pulling from the straight man book of kind of let me dangle this ring in front of her face by saying, "Oh, why don't you start an Arating family plan?" Knowing damn well you probably ain't got no intention of marrying that girl, but you want to keep. It's like you're planting. It's like, kind of like you're planting these seeds. Does that make sense? What I'm saying? Anyways, but shout out to Nick though. Because on some real, I'm going ahead and say so. Can I say something? I believe that if you are in a relationship with someone for 2 years, I'm talking about as grown as. I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about no puppy love. I'm not talking about girl, your little boyfriend. You a freshman or sophomore in college. I'm talking about two grown people, late 20s, early 30s, whatever. If you are in a relationship for 2 years and you have been honest and you have presented yourself, your true self, and you haven't worn this mask, right? Because some people do wear masks when they're in relationships. They don't present who they really are. So you think you in love with somebody and it's a completely different motherfucker, right? If you are honest about who you are presenting in your relationship, in 2 years, you should know whether or not you want to marry somebody. I'm sorry. Girl. I believe you should. 2 years as grown ass men and women with careers, if you're being honest in the relationship and you're presenting yourself as your true, authentic self, if each person is doing what they're supposed to do, in 2 years, I feel like you should know whether or not you want to marry somebody. This is not 15, 16 years. I'm talking about 30, 29, 20. Girl, I think you should. That's just me. Natalie gets up. They're all at lunch. Natalie gets up and go tells Tasia that she needs to talk to her. Tasia like, for what? Girl, I want to keep you in the loop. That's what she fucked up. That's what she fucked up. Because at that point, Tasia was like, And if I was Nick, I would have said, Amir, you need to come get Natalie. We would have shut that shit down right then and there. Shut it down. Okay? Do you think I put it, girl, is Amir really fucked up? I think Amir was fucked up, but I also feel like Amir was, girl, I'm just going ahead and say it. I feel like Amir was kind of gone, but I feel like Amir was also kind of putting a little bit onto it because he knew the shenanigans that Natalie was up to. I believe it. Alex, here you go lying. Let me shut up, child. I'm handing girl next week, the season finale. I'm handing out pink slips and white boxes. Girl, I am. Next week's episode, I'm handing out pink slips and white boxes. Girl, I am. Alex, Noelle asked Alex, basically like, what did he wish he could have someone who came onto the trip, like a couple, like a girlfriend, basically. Like, do you wish you were in a relationship, basically? Long story short. And he was like, it would have been nice to have someone come on, but he also has to continue to do the work. I Now this is what I feel like. Alex, you full of shit. Alex, I don't think that you're trying to do the work. I think what you told Summer is the truth. I think that you're in your fuckboy era, just like you said. But instead of you just saying, well, no, because right now I'm actually enjoying being single, you want to play this game as if, girl, you're doing the work on yourself in order to, eventually be in this relationship. No, you're not, girl. You're out here having a good time fucking people. Yeah, that's fine. But I don't think that Alex is doing the work. I think Alex is having a good time. He on this show, right? He got probably more access to women than what he probably had before. Alex is not a bad looking man. So he probably already had women anyways, but now he probably has a lot more. I don't think Alex is doing the work. I just don't. I think Alex is saying what he feels like he needs to say. Anyways, so they get home. Girl, here we go. All right, here we go. This is what I want to get to. So they get home, and Simon walks up to Nick, and he apologizes about the flamingo thing. Nick is like, it's fine. Simon is like, if you want to talk later, we can. He's like, no, it's not that big of a deal, but I do want to talk to your girlfriend. I said, no, that's right. I do want to talk to your girlfriend because she's going around here talking about I'm being handsy. So you can go get her. I said, get him, Nick. Babe, I'm not worried about you on that flip. I'm not worried about you on that motherfucking flamingo costume. Go get your girlfriend. Hello? Because that's who I want to have a conversation with. Yeah. um, before we get into this conversation, let me just say this. I am not the one who comes down here and makes it a habit to defend straight men. That's not me. And the reason why I don't is because me as a black gay man, I don't ever see other black straight men coming to defend us. If anything, girl, they rip our heads off our goddamn shoulders. So for me, I just repay them. Girl, so whenever it's something going on with black straight men, I don't have nothing to say because they don't say nothing about us. Okay? However, when we watch these reality shows, we have to be fair. Nick is a grown ass man. These women are grown ass women. Me personally, I don't have an issue when men and women get into conflict. I also understand how sometimes when men and women get into conflict, sometimes it is best for the woman not to say anything because some of these niggas are crazy and will knock your head off your shoulders, right? So I do get how in some cases it's best for the woman just not to say nothing because these niggas is loco and girl, they will hit your ass. Me personally, I'm not a physical person. I've never gotten into a physical altercation a day in my life. So if I were to get into an argument with a woman, she would never have to worry about me hitting her. We can cuss each other out. We can yell. But past that, I don't put my hands on people. I know that's not the case for every man. Nick does not give me that he just gonna go upside somebody's head. I don't believe that just because I don't believe in the men and women not being able to get into a little tongue tussle. I know that's not the case for every situation. Okay? I don't give a damn if these are women. They have said some things about this man that could really fuck up his reputation in his life. So if Nick wants to yell, if his tone is not the best, it is what the fuck it is. I have not changed my stance when it was Marlo and Todd. I didn't change my stance when it was Chris and Giselle. And I'm not changing my stance because it's Nick and Bria and whoever else. It is what it is. Okay? Nick had every fucking right to be pissed off. And quiet as it's kept, he really should have been cursing half of that motherfucking house out. He way better than me. Because, girl, the way I would have been cursing, hey, they would have had to cut the motherfucking cameras. Y'all want to put on the show? Girl, y'all want to put on the show? We can put on the show. As much as Bria yells and screams, does not watch her tone, now all of a sudden, Nick, who is upset, and rightfully so, he has to watch his. Bria was the same person just a few weeks ago talking about, if I don't say what I say now, then I'm going to be hollering and screaming when I get to the house. Bria walk around here like Billy Badass. But as soon as somebody gives the same energy that she's been giving since season 1, now all of a sudden, girl, you can't say nothing because you a man. Girl, fuck that. Girl. Because now you're trying to make it seem as though, girl, I'm flirting with you. Nick wasn't flirting with no goddamn Bria. This is what's going to happen on this show. And this is what's going to happen, period. Y'all are going to get to a point when these shows come around and the men are not going to want to engage with the women at all. Because anything that they do is going to can be flipped in a heartbeat. The way that Bria tried to make it seem as though Nick flirts with her, girl. Now again, was he out of line with with Jordan and Summer? Yes. Bria, girl, boo. Chenise. Chenise, girl, you got some motherfucking nerve. I Chenise. I'm acting like I'm talking to Chenise on the phone. Chenise. I remember when Chenise came on the show last season and Chenise had her titties out. I think a lot of people were like, oh shit. She walk around with titties. I don't think that what I'm about to say is not the truth. Unless you're going to a nude beach somewhere like that, for the most part, you don't just see women walking around with their titties out. You just don't. You will see a man walk around with his shirt off, but to see a woman just walking around amongst a friend group with her breast just out, it doesn't happen. Oh, my head itch. It just doesn't happen. I think it's one thing for men to look at women like, you know, like a woman walk by and she might got a big ass and all the niggas be like, oh shit, she got a big ass. Like it's shit like that where it's like, girl, stop acting like y'all ain't never seen somebody with a big ass before, right? We all look. Girl, if I see somebody with a big ass, man or woman, I'm gonna be looking like, damn, she got a big ass, right? But I think it's a difference between like staring and like creepy, like, you know what I'm saying? Versus just like, oh girl, you looking. Chenise is walking around with her titties out. So naturally in this situation, because a lot of women just don't walk around with their titties out, I think most people will be like, oh shit, her titties are out. We all gonna look. I think that it is unfair. Girl, y'all know it got to be a cold day in hell for me to be defending these niggas. I think that it is unfair for Chenise to be able to walk around the house topless, throw her ass in a circle right beside Nick, and then when he looks, y'all start to say he has wandering eyes. Your titties are out, girl, and that's not a normal thing. You will bring your titties out and then be like, oh girl, he has wandering eyes. Girl, your titties are out. Women just don't walk around with their breasts out. So I think anybody would be kind of like, oh girl, her titties are out. I think that for a lot of us who have watched the show, and I'm just being honest with y'all, I have not seen a lot of people talk about Chenise being topless. I think last season we were like, oh, Chenise titties out, girl, it is what it is, girl. Why she got this? And then remember when Bria's mother came and I said, girl, Chenise is just who she is. I don't think Chenise is doing this for a show. I think Chenise is just a fun time girl who does not have a problem showing her body. Now, that doesn't mean that other people in the house don't have a problem with it, right? But even Bria's mother said to Bria, girl, you know that's how Chenise is. So when Bria's mother said that, I was like, oh, Chenise isn't putting on a show. This is who Chenise actually is, right? But I don't think that it's fair that Chenise walks around the house with her titties out and then wants to say somebody has wandering eyes when they look. Cover your titties up. Cover your titties up. You were the one last week talking about how you were wet between your motherfucking legs for Nick. You were the one talking about, oh girl, you would give Nick some puss. He had a girlfriend then. Now it's, oh girl, if you want to be single, if you want to just look, you need to be single. He had a girlfriend. He had a girlfriend the other day when you was getting wet between your legs. Oh, 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 okay. Okay. Natalie, Amir should have cussed her ass out too. Not Amir, Nick. Nick should have cussed out Natalie and Amir. Period. Natalie got the shit started. Are we gonna be honest? That conversation that those girls had on that whatever, what is it called, what's a hammock, whatever it's called, girl, that was a, not private because it's a reality show. Nick would have eventually saw it, but that was a private conversation amongst them. that Natalie decided to try and take back to Tasia. And clearly she went back and said the wrong thing, because when Nick was saying, y'all are saying that I'm handsy with y'all, Natalie never once said, oh no, Nick, that's not what I meant. She sat there, she didn't say nothing. So clearly, I'm just going by what I saw on TV. So clearly, either she was being scared and didn't want to speak up, or either she told Nick, because she did say in the text message, Chenise, I was about to call her girl. I was about to say Sherelle and Bianca. Who the fuck is Sherelle and who the fuck is Bianca? Girl, who? Chenise. Who is Bianca? Bria. Chenise, Bria, Noelle. She said they said that you were handsy. Now, did she say to Alex and they just didn't show us? They said you were handsy with them? Or did she say they say you were handsy with Summer and Jordan? You see what I'm saying? But whatever it was, she didn't correct the situation. So in Nick's head, he took it as though, oh, they're saying I'm handsy with them. And then she finally raised her hand and said, oh, I said X, Y, and Z. Noelle was the only one. Noelle pissed me off with the whole, why are you so upset if you didn't do nothing? Girl, y'all, girl, can we just call a thing, girl? Y'all are accusing this man of sexual assault on TV. Why would he not be upset? Like, girl, let's come on. Like, y'all, we're not going to play this game. Now, we're not playing this game in 2024, Me Too era. We're not doing it. Right? I think it's one thing for Jordan and Summer to call him out and then move on and be done with it. Now y'all are trying to put sauce on it. Shout out to Ashley Darby. Now y'all putting sauce. Not even y'all. It's really Natalie. Because Natalie was the one who brought the shit back. Bria and Noelle were not going to go to Nick with that information. Natalie decided to take that information to Tasia and he eventually got back to Nick. But for Noelle to act like Nick shouldn't be mad, why are you mad? What do you mean? Why is he mad? Girl. What do you mean? What the fuck do you mean, Noelle? But past that, Noelle really didn't do nothing to. That one comment kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But past that, Noelle was probably the one that was being the most truthful. Like, we didn't say that, and we were just having girl talk, basically. Bria, she switched it up when she started talking about, oh, you flirty and all that. Nick is different. Now, this is where Amir was right. It's fucked up because on one side of the coin, it's like, why does Nick have to leave the party and not enjoy himself because Chenise got her titties out? But on the other hand, like Amir said, that's why I left. Remember the night when she had her titties out? Well, one of the nights, Amir went into the room and called Natalie because he was like, I don't want to be around that. On the other hand, it's like, girl, he has a point too. Like, that's why I left, because I knew some shit like this could happen. I felt bad for Nick. I could not do reality TV. I couldn't. When Bria started saying, watch your tone, let it out. Why? I literally said to my TV, girl, fuck you. That's exactly what I said to my TV. The way Bria would have gotten cursed out, and I wouldn't have gave a damn about it. And I wouldn't have gave a damn what nobody had to say online. They would have had to cut the cameras. I'm not playing this game with Bria. I'm not going to play this game with Chenise. I'm not playing this game with Natalie. I'm not playing this game with Noelle. I'm not playing this game with motherfucking Amir and whoever else. They would have got their asses cursed out. That trip would have been over that day. I could never do reality TV. Not with no shit like that. Girl. Not with no shit like that. And then you have people online saying because Nick is a man, girl, he needs to watch his tone. No, the fuck he don't. Not in this situation. Nick has every right to be upset and curse everybody in the house out if he wanted to. But not everybody. Girl. Half of the house. You have wandering eyes. Girl, you got your titties out. Anybody's gonna look at your titties being out because that's not normal. Most women don't walk around with their titties out within a friend circle of men and women. They just don't. Maybe if it's a girl trip, y'all walk around topless, right? But girls don't really do stuff like that. You really don't see women walking around topless. Unless you're like at a nude beach or somewhere like that, unless it's all girls, maybe. But a friend group of men and women, you know what I'm saying? And then you expect people not to look. Girl, people are going to look because it's out of the norm. Now, it's one thing for somebody to look and somebody just be looking at her tit now that even if Chenise was topless, and I'll be like, girl, like stop saying that the girl titties. Like, girl, we look now. Let's move on. I don't know. It's just a mess to me. It's just a mess. This is a good episode though. This is a good. Shout out to Summer's house. I keep wanting to call it Summer's house, girl. We're gonna call it Summer's house, Martha's Vineyard. Okay. But shout out to Summer House, Martha's Vineyard. It was cute. Next week I'm handing out pink slips and white boxes. Hello. Half of the cast ain't gonna make it. All right, y'all. I'm gone. I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all have a good day. Bye, y'all. Small correction. I think I said in the video that Nick should be upset because they accused him. Not they, girl, Natalie. It got back to Nick, and it appeared to Nick as though they were accusing him of SA. Because that's the way that Natalie, I think, delivered the message to Nick. They did not accuse him. Bria didn't accuse him. She just said it was flirty. Noelle didn't say it. Shanice said he has wandering eyes. But I think the way that Natalie presented the information to Nick was like they were saying that he was handsy. So I wanted to correct myself that it wasn't Bria. It wasn't Bria. Bria, Shanice, or Noelle accusing him, but the way that Natalie presented it to Nick, like, oh, they say that you're handsy, Nick took it as though they're saying that I'm touching on them. You see what I'm saying? So it's really Natalie's fault. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, bye, y'all.